Hello, welcome in. Obviously, spooky background. And is this partially an excuse to use this background? Yes, but also, I just wanted to make this video in general. And before we get into today's topic, that being Battlefield 6 being kind of mediocre or just average, not really anything too special, unfortunately. I want to say that this doesn't come from a place of hate. Rarely anything for me comes from a place of hate. It comes from a place of love, and you know, I want to see these things thrive. So I'm gonna throw in my 2 cents, you know, and it's just I'm very passionate about things, and these are some of the things that I am passionate about. And you know, I grew up playing Battlefield, I grew up playing COD, and all these FPS games and all these other story games and all that. And so I'm very passionate, and I want to see Battlefield 6 thrive. I do, and I think it will. It needs time, which is unfortunate, but it needs time. And I think that there's 2 sides to this coin. There's 2 sides. There's things that are dev related, like the game that, you know, needs to be changed, fixed, buffed, nerfed, whatever the case may be. Honestly, this game needs way more buffs than it ever could use nerfs. And then there's another side of it that's more of the community and the player base. Now, I'm not saying that devs don't deserve some of the blame for issues within their game. I'm not saying that at all. And I'm not saying that you should just solely blame the community either. But it is sometimes in some games, it is more so the community that ruins the game than the devs or the state of the game, whatever the case may be. In my opinion, Siege is one of those games. I love Siege. I really do. But the community is just insufferable. And I want to play Siege, but I don't feel like anybody wants to play Siege. The only time, the time that Siege feels the most like Siege to me is that stretch of Silver to Plat at like the beginning of the season. Silver to Plat feels like a good Siege, where you have people that are doing setups and you have people that are doing counterplay and all this, and it feels really good. And then you get to Emerald and above, and the game just feels like Copper and Bronze again. It's like the bell curve, you know? That's kind of how that feels to me. But this video isn't about Siege, this is about Battlefield. So I'm going to start off with things that I think this game needs from a dev standpoint, as in things that the devs can change, and perhaps it'll make the game better. I think it would make the game a lot better. And then past that, we're going to get into the more spicy thing, that being the community and the community issues. But let's start with the dev stuff. I think, okay, I big thing right now, grenade throwing needs to be buffed. I don't know why we're throwing like concrete blocks or something instead of grenades, but apparently we are. These things have like no velocity, they have like no arc, they go nowhere. And it's really annoying. Let's buff grenade throwing. Also, can we make grenades universal? I don't know. Listen, if you want to have them locked in weapon locked in like in the classic weapon system, right? In those playlists, then fine. But why are we in an open weapon system but the grenades are locked? I'm just not understanding that bit. And now you could, I guess, say that argument could then be used against me in terms of why aren't defibs on every class then? Well, the thing is that those are a staple of the support class, you know, of the healing class, the assault support class, right? And so it doesn't make sense for that to be universal. But smokes aren't universal? What are we doing here? Why are grenades not universal? I don't know what's going on with that. I think that the TTK could be faster. I think it's really slow. Now, admittedly, I have a warped perspective of TTK. I almost always find TTKs are really slow to me. Like, I thought Black Ops 7's was kind of slow. Other people think it's really, really fast, and I personally think it's really... I wouldn't say really slow, but I think that it's kind of slow. I like wicked fast TTKs. I just do. I don't really know why. I just do. And so most TTKs to me feel really slow. And I think that this is still just something that could be experimented with in Battlefield 6. And to further this point, a lot of the guns, just like the stats, right? Where it's like so many guns just do 25 damage and then have like various RPMs and all that. And I just think that we need to buff some stuff or change some of the hit values or something around, because there's not a lot of good guns in the game. There's not a lot of good gadgets in the game either, unfortunately. They added a new pistol, which I hear nobody talking about. I completely forgot that they were adding it. The thing sucks. The 44 is like the only good pistol in the game. But this, and I think it's supposed to be a Glock that they added. And you know, what would be cool about this is, oh, it's the Glock, you know, let's put the switch on it so it's full auto, you know, like the G18. Give it some uniqueness. No, it's basically just a worse M18, the starting pistol. It's just a worse version of that, basically. And if its only real benefit is, oh, but it has better range or damage, the 44 is just, if the 44 is a 2-shot headshot at like indefinite range. So who cares? 44. But I think the TTK is just a little too slow. I think let's try and speed it up. I think the game overall needs to be sped up. I think the health regen needs to be a little bit faster, or like the beginning of it, whatever the case may be, you know, the health regen start needs to be a little bit faster. I think it was faster in the beta, and which allowed you to get back into the fight or take the gunfight again a lot quicker, which is a lot better. And it'd be a little bit different if the support pack, the big one, not the mini one, the big one, like, reset it, but I don't feel like it does. The support bag feels really bugged and janky, and I miss my green ring that was around it in the beta. But that's a personal gripe, you know, whatever. But so I think the game just kind of needs to be sped up. Movement speed. I'm not saying you have to add like Battlefield 4 air strafing, but it'd be nice. It'd be nice. That's all I'm saying. It'd be nice to have Battlefield 4 movement. You know, speed up Battlefield 6 a bit, see how it goes. This is the slowest Battlefield, unfortunately, and there are people that think that it's still too fast. I don't think that. I think most of the people that are arguing with people on the internet about Battlefield have never touched a Battlefield in their life, because you hear them say something and you just go, so you didn't play like Battlefield 4, Battlefield 3, you didn't play, you know, any of those Battlefields. Battlefield 1 was pretty slow, but it still felt a little bit faster, and you had the bayonet charge that kind of, you know, made up for it a bit there. But I don't know. I feel like a lot of these people they'll say that they've played a Battlefield, but you listen to what they say and you just go, I don't think you've ever played a Battlefield. Because Battlefield's never been like a realistic build sim. It's always been an arcade shooter. God, I miss Battlefield 4. There's only like 500 people playing it on Steam, but this isn't about that. This is about Battlefield 6. God, I miss the Battlefield 6 beta. But I think the game just needs to be sped up. Faster TTK, faster movement, faster health regen, or the start of it. However you want to phrase it. I'm not even saying that the health regen has to be faster, but maybe the starting has to be a little bit faster. The patches for Season 1, from what I've heard, didn't change or fix a lot of the things that they were supposed to change or fix. Bloom does feel about the same. It feels like the issue is still there, still persistent, which is unfortunate. And yes, Bloom has always been a part of Battlefield, but quite frankly, I've never liked Bloom as a mechanic in games in general, because my gunfight shouldn't be dictated by RNG of a random bullet just deciding not to go where I'm aiming. And I'm not even talking at long range. I think Bloom at long range or prolonged like firing, I think that's kind of fine. I'm kind of fine with that. It's whatever. But I'm talking like pretty close engagements. I'm not too happy with that being a factor. You know, I touched on the guns not being very good in the game, and I still stand by that. I think the cord is really weak. Like it feels kind of good, but it also feels really bad at the same time. I feel like the game just has like a couple of good guns that feel so dominant because everything else is so bad. And this game is very RPM dependent. And I think that's because of the low TTK of guns. So it's like, you know, higher RPM, higher TTK. Again, TTK in this game is too slow. As for some personal bugs that I've encountered, to just throw them out there so they're known, going to my classes in the main menu will sometimes just crash my game. That's apparently been an issue since the beta. I never encountered that until the full launch, though. Some of the challenges still don't track properly or weren't adjusted as they were said to be. Oh yeah, my game crashed when I went into the settings in the middle of a match. No error, no nothing, just game closed. There's also a new bind in the settings that I had to go in and disable. I use ESDF because it's way better than ASWD. So this new button that was thrown upon me auto binds to E because it's like this hybrid interact quick perk select thing for the battle royale. And so I had to switch off that. It's not that big of a deal, but I'm just pointing it out for anybody else that uses ESDF, all like 20 of them. But it is the better input, and I highly suggest you use it. It's a lot less cramp on your hand, and you won't have any issues reaching anybody. I mean, I won't, but I have monstrous hands, and I can reach across the whole keyboard with one hand, so it doesn't really matter for me. But as for the dev issues or things that they can fix and whatnot, I think that's about it. Just the game needs to be sped up. Better maps too. I don't think that the maps are necessarily bad, but there's only like 2 or 3 maps that I really like. The only thing that I truly enjoy in Battlefield 6 is King of the Hill on Gibraltar. That is about it. That is like basically the only thing that I can truly find enjoyment in. But I think that it's not necessarily the maps. I think it's the community, which makes this a good segue into the community side of this debacle. I'm just gonna put it out there. The thing that makes Battlefield 6 the most boring game right now for me is the community. I've never felt this way with any of the other Battlefield. But Battlefield players just are allergic to playing the game. And what I mean by that is they'll talk big game about, oh, play the objective, play the objective. You'll never see them push the objective. You'll never see them move. You'll never see them getting in the fight. And they don't seem to also grasp the concept that you have objective players and you have kill players. The kill players are just as important, if not more important, than the objective players. They are the ones that are near and around the objective, killing everybody off and pushing them away. They are arguably more important. I'm one of those players, so maybe I'm just biased. But regardless, there's still 2 types of players, and both are important to the ecosystem. What's not important is you sitting there with your, 70-inch flat screen TV, surround sound, playing on like 2 sensitivity on a controller, sitting in a corner, and then getting mad when somebody's faster than you. Listen, maybe this just ain't for you, right? Not everything's for everybody. I say that a lot, but everybody has a cup of tea, so maybe this just ain't for you, right? Maybe it's time to retire. I mean, it's mean, but it's true. It's mean, but it's true. And if you're good at the game, you're just demonized, you're called a cheater right away. Like, I don't understand how Battlefield players are as bad and oblivious and ignorant as they are. It is truly baffling that there are people that are like this in everyday society. And I don't know. I think if the game just... Oh, real quick, topic shift back to things that the dev needs to fix because it popped in my little lizard brain. What's up with the ping? Like, the servers are really bad in the game to begin with, but what's up with the ping, dude? Why am I matchmaking by myself, right? So I don't have any friends that live a bit away from me or whatever to compensate for. I'm playing on my ping, right? My servers, or at least I should be. What is with me in this no SBMM or whatever the matchmaking system is? Why am I getting put in lobbies sometimes where I have like 70 ping, or I have teammates or enemies that are on 100 ping? Like, what's going on here? Why is there... What's going on with that? What's going on with that? Also, the desync is atrocious, brother. And desync is horrible. The server, yeah, it's really bad. Okay, back to the community, though. I want Battlefield players to be better at the game because I think that would make the game more enjoyable. But they just refuse to get better at the game, and they just, I don't know, they're so ignorant. I mean, like, there's like this whole movement on Reddit, which they're full of a word that I probably shouldn't say in a YouTube video, but I'm pretty sure I have said in a YouTube video, but I'm not going to say it here. It's the French word for slow. Kevin Spacey says it in Baby Driver. But anyways, regardless, such a weird reference. Anyways, the guy from Advanced Warfare. What is it? Oh yeah. Like these people on Reddit are pushing for people to not res people with certain skins because they're not mamilsim. You can't make this up, dude. Like, this is either some like ingenious quantum physics rage bait, or it's just the lowest IQ individual possible, and there's no in between. I hope that is rage bait. I really do. But there's definitely people that would look at it, even if it is rage bait, and wholeheartedly agree with it. And that says a lot about our society. But that's, you know, topic for another video that will never be made. But yeah, if there's anything that I want you to take from this, it's that it's not always the dev's fault for a game not being in the greatest spot. Not saying that you shouldn't, you know, give devs a little bit of trouble when they deserve it. Everybody deserves a little trouble from now and again. It keeps, you know, keeps things fresh, keeps them frisky in a way. I mean, like, I want women to beat me and throw me, but you know, that's a little off topic. But oh god. But no, I want this game to succeed, and I think it will. I think it just needs more time to cook, which is unfortunate, but maybe in a year it will be really good. I mean, look at 2042. 2042 was left in a really good state. I really enjoyed 2042 at the end of its life cycle. It's unfortunate that it took until its end of its life cycle, but I also didn't play it really until the end of its life cycle. But it was enjoyable. I enjoyed Battlefield 2042 a lot. I still have never played Battlefield 5. I probably won't, but, you know, point is that sometimes the Battlefield games do need a little bit longer to cook to make things better. So hopefully Battlefield 6 is in that boat. Hopefully gadgets get a lot of love. Speaking of gadgets, because I just remembered another thing. Assault needs massive changes, dude. Assault is pointless in the game currently. Assault should be the Call of Duty class. The stim should, like, heal you and make you faster and give you less bloom, less, like, recoil. Like, you're taking adrenaline. You should be, like, you know, faster, and you should be less, you know, less recoil, less bloom and all that. And then if you want, it's like when it's out, you're a little bit more, you know, out of it, and you can't sprint for a little bit. Like, if that's the trade-off you want to go for, then go for it. But the Assault class needs massive buffs. It sucks. I'd also argue that Engineer sucks too, because Recon has C4 and arguably just has the better kit overall with recon stuff, so you can ping things, you can throw a sensor ball. Like, you have all this information to just look at your minimap. By the way, this is your reminder to look at the minimap, because so many of you don't. Recon's just better than Engineer. Just slap a carbine on and you'll be able to take out every tank, no problem, with the C4. Support's just the best in the class, though. Best class in the game. Doesn't mean that it needs nerfs, it just means that everything else needs massive buffs. I've swerved a couple times because I don't write things down. I don't do scripts. I just go, brother. I just go. And whatever pops into my head that I need to talk about pops into my head. But yeah, player base needs to get better at the game. Call of Duty is probably going to still outsell you like it always does, unfortunately, but not also at the same time, because Black Ops 7 is really, really good and probably the best COD ever made. Unironically, it's just basically Black Ops 2, but better. And the game has extreme potential, that being Battlefield 6. Battlefield 6 has extreme potential. I think it will get there in the end. I think that we just gotta wait like a year or two, which is really unfortunate, but, you know, maybe it'll happen sooner. I hope it happens sooner. I hope that I'm wrong. I'd like to be wrong. The only problem is that I'm very rarely wrong. So, yeah, you know. But yeah, thank you for watching the video. All I ask really is that you just don't be hateful one another in the comments. If anybody sees this video in comments, just don't be hateful to one another. Have civilized discussions. I want people to have more civilized discussions of people disagreeing with one another and just having calm discussions with one another. I'm so tired of people being nasty when it comes to these conversations. I very rarely, well, I will gaslight people in my comments because I think it's funny from time to time, but that's not the point. The point is that it just try to be civil in the comments. Try to just have an open conversation of some kind, whether you agree with me, disagree with somebody else, agree with somebody else. Just be kind to one another. Do your best. Stay hydrated. Do your stretches. Do your workouts and eat something that's good for your heart, maybe. Yeah. Oh, also, we're super close to 900 subs. So if you'd be kind enough to hit me up to that number, even 1,000 maybe. I'd appreciate it a lot. I know that uploads have been really scarce lately, and that's quite frankly because I'm just not enjoying Battlefield 6 all that much, so I'm not really getting that much footage. I should really just power through it, but I'm just whatever. Black Ops 7's right around the corner. But with Black Ops 7, I know that I have said that I would return to daily uploads, but I'm thinking that I will go to like every 2 or maybe every 3 days of uploading, simply because I want to put more time into the videos to some degree. I don't know really what that means for editing, but I'll put a bit more elbow grease into it. And this will also allow me to be a little bit pickier with my clips, because I can get really picky with my clips, which is kind of a bad thing. But I think that this will allow me to get a bit better quality clips. Because I'm in this weird dilemma where it's like, I just won't clip something, even if it's okay or decent, because I'm like, it's just not good enough in my opinion. And then I'll clip something and I'm like, it's just not that good, but I just don't have enough clips, so I'll just throw it in there, even though I don't think it's that great of a clip. So I'm in this weird dilemma. So with Black Ops 7, I'll probably actually upload like every other day or every 3 days, depending on how I end up editing things. But yeah, Black Ops 7 should have a whole lot more consistency. I may daily upload. I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure it out. We'll feel out the room, you know? But again, thank you for stopping by. I know that this is a longer video, and it's just one of my tangent rant videos where I just kind of just go with no real direction and no script. So yeah. Again, stay hydrated. Love you. Bye. Mwah. I got the shivers.